Imagine being forced to marry the very man you despise, your husband's brother, burning with desire and jealousy. Imagine refusing him, clinging instead to the memory of your true love, only to be cast out, shamed, and left to suffer with your children. To obey tradition would be betrayal, but to resist it invites hatred. This is the story of Amarachi, the widow who said no and paid a heavy price. Before we dive into this tale of love, lies, and unshakable faith, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Let your voice be heard, for even silence holds judgment. In the heart of a bustling town lived Amarachi, a woman whose beauty was as gentle as her soul. When she met Chukwudi, it was love at first sight. Their wedding was filled with laughter. Songs and blessings, and soon, their home echoed with the laughter of 4 children. But in the same compound was Ikechukwu, Chukwudi's younger brother. He watched Amarachi with eyes of desire. When Chukwudi suddenly died after a short illness, Ikechukwu saw his chance. He demanded Amarachi marry him in the name of tradition. But Amarachi, with tears in her eyes, said, "Ikechukwu, my heart belongs to Chukwudi. I will not betray his memory." That refusal turned Ikechukwu's desire into hatred. He began whispering lies against her, poisoning the family's ears. Soon, Amarachi and her 4 children were cast out of the compound. Carrying her children in the dead of night, Amarachi walked into the unknown. She begged for food, but neighbors turned their backs. Whispering lies Ikechukwu had spread. She worked tirelessly, washing clothes, carrying loads, sweeping markets, anything to keep her children alive. At night, she would stare at them sleeping, whispering, "Chukwudi, see how I fight for our children. They will not perish." Ikechukwu's lies grew stronger. He accused her of witchcraft, of killing her husband, of unfaithfulness. Many believed him. Amarachi's pain deepened, but the innocent voices of her children gave her strength. "Mama, don't cry. One day God will help us." Years passed. Hunger and suffering marked the children's faces, yet they grew in courage. Her eldest son, barely a teenager, began doing menial jobs to support his mother. The younger ones endured ridicule at school, mocked as the cursed children. One day her daughter came home weeping. "Mama, they said we have no father, that we are rejected." Amarachi hugged her tightly, her tears soaking the girl's hair. "My child, you are not rejected. You are the light of my life." The family's suffering became so great that people began to pity her. But still no one dared to defend her publicly. Ikechukwu's shadow loomed large, and his tongue was sharper than any blade. One fateful day, Ikechukwu's wickedness caught up with him. A family elder, tired of the endless lies, stood up in a meeting and said, "Enough. We drove this woman away without proof. Let the truth be revealed." Rumors began to spread, whispers that Ikechukwu's bitterness was not about tradition, but because Amarachi had refused him. Slowly, the truth began to surface. Meanwhile, Amarachi, despite her suffering, raised her children with dignity. The eldest passed his exams with excellent results, shocking everyone who thought the cursed family would amount to nothing. The same neighbors who once mocked her now began to respect her resilience. Years later, Amarachi stood tall at her son's graduation. Her heart swelled with pride as he wore his gown, proof that her tears were not in vain. People who once shunned her now whispered with shame. Even Ikechukwu, once proud and bitter, was now an old man haunted by guilt and regret. His lies had destroyed her place in the family, but not her spirit. Amarachi had become stronger through suffering, her children rising as her crown of victory. With tears of joy, she lifted her eyes to the heavens and whispered, "Chukwudi, my love, I kept my promise. Your children did not perish. Our love lives on through them." Her story became a living testimony that no amount of lies, jealousy, or hatred can destroy a woman who fights for her children with courage and faith. Just when Amarachi thought life was finally beginning to smile on her, the shadows of her past rose again. Ikechukwu, still bitter though weakened by age, could not stand to see her children rising higher than his own. He began whispering again, this time in the ears of distant relatives. "If not for me, Amarachi would never have survived. She owes me. Her children owe me." But the town had changed. People no longer believed his words as easily. Too many had seen Amarachi's tears, her struggles, her sacrifices. Too many had witnessed her children's success. Still, the lies brought back old wounds for Amarachi. At night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, whispering, "Will this pain ever end? Must my children keep fighting the ghost of this man's hatred?" Her eldest son, now grown into a strong young man, held her hand and said, "Mama, don't worry. The same God who kept us through hunger will silence him forever." Life threw Amarachi another trial. One of her children fell gravely ill, and she had no money for the hospital. She ran from house to house, begging for help. Many still turned her away, saying, "That family's curse has followed them." Amarachi knelt in the dust, tears streaming down her face. She cried to heaven, "God, if you saved me before, do not let this child be taken from me. I have suffered enough, please." Just when hope seemed lost, a kind stranger stepped forward. A woman from the church who had always admired Amarachi's resilience. She paid for the hospital bills and the child was saved. This miracle rekindled Amarachi's faith. She realized that though men could lie and cast her away, God had never abandoned her. Years passed, and the truth about Ikechukwu finally came to light. In a heated family gathering, one of the elders exposed him. "This woman's only crime was that she refused you. You destroyed her place in this family because of your wicked desire. You cast her into suffering. Today let the truth be known." The compound fell silent. Ikechukwu's face turned pale. The lies he had built for years crumbled in one moment of truth. Amarachi sat quietly, tears in her eyes, not tears of sorrow, but tears of relief. For the first time, the family saw her not as the cursed widow, but as the woman who had borne her pain with dignity. Her children grew into men and women of honor. They became living proof that suffering could not crush a determined heart. Amarachi, once cast out and forgotten, was now respected in the town. She built a small house of her own, where laughter once again filled the rooms. Visitors came not to gossip, but to seek advice from her, the woman who had survived storms and built her life again from ashes. Standing at the doorway of her house one evening, with her grown children around her, Amarachi smiled through tears and whispered, "I was once broken but not destroyed. I was once cast away, but now I am crowned with joy. Truly, those who put their trust in God be put to shame." As Amarachi's children grew older, they could no longer remain silent about the pain their mother endured. Her eldest son, Obina, strong and respected in the town, decided to confront Ikechukwu. He stood before the old man and said firmly, "Uncle, we know what you did to our mother. You destroyed her name, you cast her out, and you left us to suffer. But look at us today. Your lies did not kill us. We survived." Ikechukwu trembled. His once fiery voice was now weak. He tried to defend himself, but the truth was already known. The people around murmured in agreement with Obina. For the first time, Ikechukwu bowed his head in shame. His arrogance was gone. His power had melted like wax before fire. Amarachi's story began to spread beyond her family. Widows in the town, who once hid in silence, started to find courage in her strength. They whispered among themselves, "If Amarachi could survive and raise her children with dignity, so can we." Her life became a living testimony, a lantern to other women walking through the dark valley of widowhood. Even the elders who once condemned her began inviting her to family meetings, asking for her wisdom. One day an elder told her, "Amarachi, we wronged you. But today we honor you as a mother of strength. Your children are your crown, and your life is a lesson for us all." In Ikechukwu's final days, he was a lonely man. The very relatives he deceived abandoned him. His own children turned against him, whispering that his greed and wickedness had brought shame to their lineage. On his sickbed, he sent for Amarachi. The family thought she would refuse, but she went. She stood beside the man who had once destroyed her life. With a broken voice, Ikechukwu said, "Amarachi, forgive me. I was blinded by desire. I wanted what I could not have. And in my anger, I destroyed your life. Please, do not let me die with this guilt." Amarachi's eyes filled with tears. She looked at him for a long moment, then whispered softly, "Ikechukwu, you did not destroy me. You only pushed me into the hands of God, and he lifted me higher than your lies ever could. I forgive you." Those words, simple yet powerful, broke the chains of bitterness that had bound her heart for years. Years later, Amarachi's children rose to greatness. One became a lawyer, another a teacher, another a businesswoman, and the youngest a pastor. They all stood together, honoring the woman who had given them everything. At a grand celebration in the town, Amarachi was seated at the front, her children surrounding her like stars around the moon. Songs were sung, praises lifted. She was no longer the widow who was cast out, but the mother of honor, a woman whose story became legend. Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy as she whispered to herself, "Chukwudi, my love, I kept a promise. Our children are the crown on my head. My tears were not wasted." And that, my dear viewers, is the story of Amarachi, the widow who was cast out, mocked and broken, yet rose to become a mother crowned with honor. Her tears were not wasted, her pain was not in vain, and her children became the proof that no lie, no hatred, and no rejection can stop a woman chosen by God. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope. Thank you for watching Our Mummy Show Love TV. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Your words keep these stories alive. Until we meet again with another powerful tale, stay strong, stay hopeful, and always remember, no matter the storm,